I don't know if using my AirPods will make the reading worse, but let's just go with it. A natural. Leonard was a rather odd fellow. He always spent his time outside, breathing the fresh air, and talked to animals. People thought he was insane. Of course, you couldn't talk to animals. Everyone knew this. It would explain why Leonard was seen as a weird kid. Yet he was unique in his own way. Even if he were judged, he did not care. He was living his life around the figures he loved. Like how he loved the animals loved him too. Nobody could explain how him and any animal would just click. Len could go on for hours explaining everything he thinks is great about animals and how he wished for a job in a zoo. He felt being a zookeeper would be his dream job considering how animals are around him. His peers would outcast him from school for his strange obsession with animals, but, as stated earlier, he did not care. People could think that he was crazy, mentally unstable, pushed to the brink of insanity, which would make him willing to talk to animals. But no, he had no cares in the world. His friends found it rather funny. They think of him as a Disney princess or something, just being able to naturally communicate with animals. But of course, they never believed the fact that Len could actually pull something off like that. Their beliefs remained the same as the people's. Nobody could talk to animals. Len thought otherwise. He was not going to let a whole community tear down what he strongly believed in. Ever since Len was a child, every animal he had come in contact with would have a one-sided conversation with something. His friends would just glare at him as he stares into the soul of the animal, and it would sound like he's talking to himself. But the way he stares at the animal makes it feel like the animal is talking back to him. Again, they never had any beliefs that one could communicate with animals. There was no way. Though for Len, this experience had changed his life. Was this a good thing or a bad thing? Len wasn't sure. This started back when Len was in primary school, maybe, at age 8. Len paced around in his backyard, bored out of his mind and wanting something to do. Something caught his attention as he heard leaves ruffling in the tree. His curiosity piqued as he went closer and closer to the tree to see what exactly made that noise. He looked around more, eventually finding a cat roaming around the walls of his yard. "Hey man, what you staring at?" It said through his mind. Was he insane? It was like he could interpret the cat's thoughts. "Are you gonna keep staring, or are you gonna get some food for me?" Len quickly ran inside and took some raw meat from inside the fridge. He took a knife and sliced a few pieces, putting it on a plate, and putting the rest back in the fridge, of course. He went back outside and looked for the cat, but couldn't find it. "Give me the food," it said. He looked up to see it on the roof. He held the plate up as the cat scarfed the meat down. "I suppose that will suffice. Do you have any water?" The cat drops down from the roof and sits in the grass as it watches Len go back inside to pour some water in a bowl. He comes back outside and puts it on the ground as the cat quenches its thirst. He sits down and watches as the cat finishes drinking. "Thank you," it said as it walked over to him and nudged his arm. It curled up next to him and began to rest and clean itself. "God, what have you gotten yourself into, Len? You're going insane. This is a literal cat talking to you. You must be dreaming." Len was talking to himself, thinking the cat wouldn't be able to comprehend what he was saying. "Can you be quiet? I prefer my naps to be silent," it said. He wasn't going crazy. In fact, this would mean that he could actually correspond with animals. He couldn't believe it. 2 years later, he would roam the neighborhood with his friends, and birds would accompany them on their walks. Len naturally talked to the birds, his friends not being able to comprehend. Len saw this as an advantage too. He could tell all of his secrets to the animals, knowing nobody would be able to translate them. Not that, but he could go to any available animal for anything. He's an odd kid. He could overhear his parents talking in the main room. His bedroom remained the furthest from the rest of the rooms and closest to the forest where most animals lurk. Exactly what he liked. It's like he would be talking to the spirits of animals, another said. We all know that it's not possible to talk to animals. Something must be clearly wrong with them. Are you not offended over what they're saying about you? The cat asked. The same cat from 2 years ago remained in contact with Len. He didn't mind. He liked cats. He would always keep his window open so the cat could come and go as they please. Nah, they just don't understand what I'm capable of doing, Len said to the cat. And honestly, that's just fine with me. Nobody else has to be talking to me. I don't care. Never did. As long as I can talk to you, then I'll be fine. If you say so. The cat scoffs. Now, be quiet. I'm gonna take a nap. I suppose I should sleep too. I suppose I should sleep too. I would rather dream about talking to animals I'd never seen before than overhearing my parents talking bad about me. As long as his life went, year 10, he had been the cheery boy who could talk to animals. It would truly be something that nobody else would be able to comprehend. He still had his friends, of course. They just thought he was insane with talking to himself. They slowly adapted to his behavior and would include the animals in events if they wanted to be, according to Len. He seemed truly alone, but at the same time, he was included in both the human world and the animal world.